Hey everyone, welcome to our Friday Facebook Live. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Linda Marquez-Ganine, and I am excited about what I'm going to share today as far as, we all know that right now we're in the middle of a pandemic, and I get tired of hearing everything about it. However, I do have some good news for you. Today, what I'm going to share is what can you do for yourself and for your family. It really comes down to every person needs to take full on responsibility and not wait for a vaccine in order to get well. Really, prevention is the cure to all disease. So what I have to share today is going to blow your mind. And I mean, it's all the research is all there. You can really, I'm going to try to break it down to you and simplify it. And just one of the problems with research is that I always say you have to look at who's funding the research and who is to gain from the results of research. So most of the time, research is funded by big pharma, some pharmaceutical company, a big interest group, because they have something to gain from it financially. Well, with what I'm going to share today, nobody has anything to gain financially from it. I don't. There's no one else that does. It's simply to make you really just understand that you are fully in control 100% of your health. So I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share because I want to pull up this article. It's on PubMed. You can go there. I'll reference put the links on after this. So let me pull that one up, and let me see if I can pull it up here really quick. And I love this article. I kept going over and over it. So let's see if that, okay, let me try it one more time. It said screen share screen. Let's go with this better work. Okay. All right. I hope you all can see this. So I'm trying to see if I can pull this out. So let me go back, and there we go. Okay. So here it is, and let me just make this. There we go. Okay. So as you can see this right now, this is in PubMed. You can go to PubMed, and this is a really recent article in September of this year. Actually, it was published, so it's really a new article. And this is where I like to go to get, my facts, to get my research. And I always like to go back and look at the articles and, who's it funded by, where was it written? These are all the contributing authors, but this is an amazing title here, Switching the Host Metabolism as an Approach to Dampening SARS-CoV-2 Infections. So the host metabolism means you are the host. The only way a virus is going to survive is if it has the appropriate host. You are the host. So that's why it's being passed on from person to person, and you actually needs a host to survive. Well, what kind of host does it need? So we're going to get into that. But, I'm just going to hit a few bullet points, tell you what you can do, and you can go back and read this. It'll probably take you an hour to just really dissect it, let it settle in, go and see some of the cross references to all this. But basically here it's telling us that we already know about the background. The summaries is we're looking at the host metabolism, particularly changing the host metabolic site from carbohydrate-dependent glycolic state to a fat-dependent ketogenic diet, which may affect viral replication. Now, y'all know that I love the ketogenic diet. It's a template that I've been using for years, and I love it. However, I prefer the dairy-free ketogenic template just because dairy can and I've seen it for years, over 20 some years being in practice, that dairy does produce mucus and inflammation in the body. So I prefer the dairy-free and see people do phenomenal with that. So anyways, let's go back here. So the impact of intermittent fasting and triggered metabolic switch, along with the impact of supplementation of MCT, medium chain triglycerides, which are like, you see MCT oil, you see it in coconut oil, you even see it in grass-fed butter. So, such as lauric acid representing the envelope formation or repressing the envelope formation of viral replication is also addressed. So that is really cool. The amalgamation of intermittent fasting, that's what IF stands for, and a ketogenic diet rich in MCTs is thought to work as a prophylactic measure for normal people with adjunct therapy for infected persons. So that is awesome. I mean, just reading that, if that doesn't get you excited for my friends here that are, practicing the ketogenic lifestyle, it's freaking amazing. So I was just like, yes, finally somebody's writing about this, but there's not really a lot of financial gain, so we don't see a lot of research like this. I mean, I've seen it in my practice with patients, but so the key message here in this research was that a ketogenic breakfast, along with supplementation of 2 doses of lauric acid helps with, because of the antiviral properties that it has, anti-lauric rich MCTs at breakfast and lunchtime, followed by an 8 to 12 hour intermittent fast, and then dinner rich with fruits and vegetables could be a potential prophylactic strategy in adjunct therapy to combat SARS COVID-2 infections. So the key here is this study was actually done earlier this year in April in Ramadan. Okay, so if you don't know, so just kind of like a background with Ramadan, what they do, it's really like 30 days of prayer and fasting. It's kind of a cleansing time for them. So they don't eat from sunrise to sundown. So during that time, it's just like they're not eating, they're fasting. So right before sunrise, what they were showing here is that they were having a protein diet with the fats, and I'll break that down here in a minute. And they didn't eat all day, and then they broke their fast, but they also had that's when they had some fats, and they did have some fruit and vegetable, more healthier foods. So I'm just going to bring this all the way down really quick, just so that you kind of see here. I'm going fast and your eyeballs are going crazy. Bear with me. So here is just kind of a summary of what they were doing. They had a ketogenic breakfast. They had the medium chain fats, or MCT is medium chain triglycerides, like an MCT oil. Then they fasted for 8 to 12 hours. And this is just during the day. This is what they chose to do. And then at dinner, they broke their fast. So what happened was they found that when you have this type of eating template, you actually have, kind of to explain it, your body's either fat dependent or sugar dependent. So people that are doing the ketogenic diet template, your body is most of the time in ketosis. Most of the time it's fat adapted, meaning that it depends on fat as its fuel source versus sugar as a fuel source. Most people have that standard, that follow the standard American diet, standard American lifestyle, as I call it, is really heavy in carbs. Their typical breakfast is orange juice in the morning, oatmeal in the morning. They think it's healthy. Then at lunchtime, they have usually bread, like a sandwich. They go to Subway, get a whole wheat bread and whole wheat, and cold cuts that have all the sugar in there. And then at dinner, they have maybe a little bit of pasta and chicken, and they think that that's healthy. That's your standard American diet. Well, that's going to put you in a state of where your body depends on glucose and sugar as your fuel source. So you're going to be hungry all the time, craving sugar, and you want to be snacking, whether it's on pretzels, whether it's rice cakes, whether it's something you want to eat throughout the day. So what happens is during this time is that your body is more sugar dependent than it is fat dependent. So in the study, what they found that is people that had, that were sugar dependent, that were not fat adapted, and fat wasn't their primary fuel source, the virus actually replicates in that individual, in that host. So we are solely responsible for whether the virus is going to be replicated in us, and if we're going to pass it on to somebody else. And when someone tells you, it's like, don't come near me, I know that my body's fat dependent, and it depends on your day-by-day diet. and that's why the ketogenic diet is so amazing, is that you're going to get viral replication when your body's glucose dependent. And most of the people are. And when you're glucose dependent, that virus is going to replicate. I mean, the studies just show that, a virus will replicate in a host that that is sugar dependent. So here is another interesting part here. The SARS invades the cells. It hijacks cells machinery, and it ensures its proper replication. The disruption in the replication here. This just goes on to about, I'm talking about the cytokine storms and how there's like a trigger of effect, a cascade of effects on that. But when we get down here, lauric acid, which is in MCT, in your medium chain triglyceride, on the other hand, has shown to downregulate the expression of IL-6, which means interleukin-6, that consists of intestinal epithelial cells. Interleukin-6 is another key, which is pro-inflammatory cytokine, contributing to the cytokine storm observed in most patients with severe COVID-19 symptoms. So you can see that. I mean, that's black and white there. So here is a suggested diet. You can see here to disfavor the viral replication. And it talks about here, just right here, you'll see the modification of the micro environment required for viral replication can be accomplished well by a ketogenic MCT drink rich in lauric acid, low in and LCFFs, followed by short-term IF, intermittent fasting, period of 8 to 12 hours. So breakfast with a ketogenic MCT oil, so you can have fat in the oil. Some people have like the butter coffee. I like to have that too, or they can have like eggs and eggs with the yolk, not eggs white. So you want to have eggs with like sausage, maybe some clean bacon. Or I like to have even like hemp, like a hemp keto for breakfast. Then you can have in the middle of the day, you can have MCT drinks, so you can still fast. So I'm just giving an example to kind of mimic what they did with Ramadan, and they actually found that these studies will inhibit the viral replication. So if you kind of mimicked what they did on a daily basis, or even did intermittent fasting at nighttime, breaking a fast in the morning with protein and fat is important. You don't want to break it with carbs. And they went on, let's say 8 in the morning, went on for 8 to 12 hours, and then they ate a balanced diet, a diet that had the proper amount of carbs and fibers from fruit, vegetables, rich in vitamins and minerals, and important for boosting the immunity against SARS. So this is really powerful. So one of the things that I am going to tell you, because people are saying, well, you know what, I am eating clean, or I know people that are eating clean and they got sick. Well, there's a lot of factors. It's just not diet. 1, yes, definitely diet. 2, you got to get your sleep dialed in. 3, you have to get your mindset dialed in. If you're stressed and are in a crappy mood, I mean, that all down regulates your immune system. Are you getting enough rest? Sleeping. Are you sleeping at least 8 hours of quality sleep? Are you having fun? Are you having that balance? Are you moving enough? Are you exercising? I supplement with, vitamin C, and you have to find your dosage, usually to bowel tolerance. And when a person is in an active COVID situation, they have it right now, they might have to increase their dosage to like 3 to 5 grams. You do it to bowel tolerance. So you have to find what works for you, and that's taken throughout the day. I have a whole guide on what supplements you should take. Zinc is another one, at least 35 milligrams. And I take if you can see it here, I have my tea, my Flu Bomb tea. It's on my website. You can check it out. So those are some of the things that you can do. This is black and white. Your diet, your eating template is super important in combating it. So there you go. It's right there. I'm going to share the link right here. I'm going to share the link also to the guideline, and also to the guideline of the products. And then here is my tea. The Flu Bomb tea, I have that on my website too. I have a little recipe card on here, but I've added coconut oil. Just it's more palatable that way as well. So I did add that. Anyways, I hope that this helps. Until next time, subscribe on our YouTube video. Follow us on Facebook. We might be deviating from Facebook here in a little bit. So the way you keep up with us is just if you're on our mailing list or go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, and all these videos will be updated there or uploaded there. All right, until next time, we'll see you later, and have a great weekend. See ya.